You're listening to another Woodshop podcast, the okayest podcast of its type. Your hosts are Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, Peter Kapar of Petrie's Workshop, and Braden Boakes of Littlebug Woodworking. You can find them as well as the podcast on your favorite social media channels.
Welcome to episode 232 of another Woodshop podcast, where 'twas the podcast before Christmas, when all through the shop, not a listener was stirring, not even Dunlop. The questions were emailed to the podcast with care in hopes that St. Petrie soon would play them on air. Patrons were nestled, all snug in their bed, while visions of Pete, Dan, and Braden danced in their head, patiently waiting for the podcast to drop soon after tonight. Happy Christmas to all, and to all, a good night.
Yeah, good night.
Good night, guys. Thanks for joining us. Love y'all. Bye.
but why, Mr. Pete? Why are you trying to take our AWP?
Bah humbug, which is apparently the F word back then.
Oh my.
Oh my.
I thought if anybody was Scrooge, it would be me.
Oh man, I practiced that like 3 times and I still screwed it up. Well, that's my "'Twas the night before Christmas."
With your back, Dan, you'd be Tiny Tim.
Regulation Tim. Sorry, Dan. I had to stretch your name to make the shop part work. Dunlop. I figure that works.
I am not a tire.
You're not a tire? Well, speaking of attires.
Our patrons?
And
gentlemen,
wheels.
buckle up. We have, and I can't imagine why this is the case, but we have a lot of new patrons and upgraders, mind you.
Ooh.
Oh. They're taller than 5th graders.
Yeah, that sounded like an elementary school something. Anyway, let's start with the upgraders, shall we? These are the folks that have upgraded their membership, and we appreciate them. Greg Walwy. Walwy?
Wow.
John Grubb. Thank you, John. Malcolm in the middle at Bossa Nova Woodworks.
Ooh.
And Scott Aquilina.
Ooh.
Those are all upgraders.
Nice.
Awesome.
We got some new ones too. We got
growing.
Paul Moore, Frank Porcella Jr., Nate.
Oh, Nate.
Just Nate.
Just Nate.
Just Nate. Skip Phillip, Harold Bolin, and David. I'm going to butcher this. Picota.
Picota?
Picota?
Picota. I'm hoping
David
it's
P. Thank you to all the new patrons. We appreciate you guys. And do you want to talk about why we probably got a bunch of new patrons and upgraders, or should I list off the VIPs first?
I think that it may have something to do with the fact that we have gotten our act together. We have gotten off wood glue fumes, and we have decided to become productive with this whole podcasting thing. We're not going to make it to like the Haktua podcast level if we just don't start putting in the work.
But we are going to put out a meme coin in February.
Yeah, we're going on that.
Yeah, get your AWP nickels in February. But what we're doing is we're running ourselves a tasty little giveaway, boys. So all of our patrons, big and small, are entered in automatically as long as you're on a paid tier to win a brand new inbox, lightly fondled by UPS,
extra handled by Dunlap.
Oh yeah, shipping and handling. It's all handling.
I rolled it into my house.
T1 Pro Delta style 3D printer, and it is busting. This thing can hit 1,000 millimeters a second. It's a pretty cool little 3D printer. Maybe don't do it all the time, but it's a cool party trick. And it's a really good printer. A lot of us have been using them, and they're fun to use. So if you sign up for a paid level patron tier, or if you're already a patron, you're automatically entered, and it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 entries based on your level of patronage. And then if you want to get extra entries, you can go over to stjudes.com/go/another woodshop podcast.
The link will be in the show notes.
Don't type that in. Go to the show notes. But you can go to our Makers for St. Jude team page where we're raising money for St. Jude's because childhood cancer sucks and we're going to beat it. And you can donate through us directly to St. Jude's. And every $5 that you donate gets you one more entry into the giveaway. And we're going to run through all the entries that we've got. We're going to cap it on Christmas Day. It'll be a Christmas miracle. And then on next week's episode, we're going to do a spinny thing or a rolly thing or pull a number from a hat. We're going to pick a winner and we're going to ship off a 3D printer. Yes, Peter.
I would just like to point out that if you, for whatever reason, don't want to win a 3D printer, but you hate childhood cancer and want to help fight it in a cage match, you can donate at the site as well. We are trying to raise enough money to hit the goal for this year. It's $50K. We are less than, I think, $1,200 away from that. So we're trying to help out. We've had
Mike Suter.
Mike Suter. Jesus, Mike. What is his last name? Mike Suter on with Makers for St. Jude. No, we have not had Jesus on. Mike Suter on. We started working with Makers for St. Jude this year. We're very excited about it, and we would love to help them just crest over that hill before the end of the year. So make sure to get all your tax deductible donations in. And again, check out the link in the show notes because the one that Braden gave was close, but no cigar. So it was fundraising.stjude.org/go-to/another woodshop podcast. So you
click the show notes. That was close.
It was going there.
I had the gist, which totally works.
The je ne sais quoi.
I want to mention. I want to mention that we are already over $1,000 donated through that link alone,
which is freaking baller.
We only need $150 more to be in top 5.
Yeah, if we hit $150, we're in the top 5, which means we're on the front page of the Makers for St. Jude's team. And we're the only people that we wouldn't be beating are those giant evil corporations. And I mean evil in the sense, corporations, not they're evil. It's Onefinity and Surf Prep. They're not evil. They're delights. But we want to win.
Yeah. We'll take them.
So
now I shall continue
the VIPs
with the VIP patrons.
VIP
the tastiest, scrumptious.
And the list just gets longer, fellas and ladies. Braden's Grouple, Alex Duffy. Raoul
Grouple or Group E?
Grouple.
I don't know if that's correct.
That's an L.
The Z is silent, Dan.
Pull it up, Braden, and zoom in. I know my eyes are bad, but that looks like
enhance.
We'll take it. Groupie or Grouple. Either one.
Raoul Lipschitz, I believe that continues to be Greg Bennett. Damon from BWG Woodworking, and Jeremy Claybaugh. Mike over at Woodwork and Weld. Patrick Ginsel, 40th birthday party nurse stripper. Oh, that's Alex Adam, not Patrick Ginsel. Oh, okay. John Herbolsheimer over at Living Laugh Woodworks. Jared LaPuma at LL Builds. Tyler Booth from Temecula Yard Games. Henry Lutens from Manfreda Wood. Charlie Coons, Stubby K Studio. Justin from Fraser Canyon Woodworks. Sarah Rose Goldstein with Rosie's Row Woodshop. Michael at Gillette Woodworks. El Jefe de la Madera. That is Jeff at Maker's Way. Victor at Whim Designs. Air Jordan Mountain Hopper. That is Nick Brim Woodworking. I don't understand that one, Nick. Max and Liz Reed over at Reed Design Co. Bill Burkle from WTB Woodworking. Malcolm comes into the VIPs over at Bossa Nova Woodworks. RJ Hammy at Dobby's Crap House. Malcolm's official fluffer, that continues to be Patrick. Ed Mancini at Mancini Woodworking. Chris at Chris Will Make. Scott Shirk from Red Leg Custom Woodworks. Max and Mindy Coons from Stubby K Studio. Save big with code AWP at campfirewoodworks.com. Guess who that is?
What, 3%? That's pretty big.
That is
Big ladies.
Justin Bailey at Campfire Woodworks.
Ladies.
And rounding them out is Big John Grubb. Thank you to everybody who supports this, who supports Makers for St. Jude, and who is entering the FL Sun T1 Delta Pro 9er 3D printer thingamabob. We appreciate you.
Dan did just read that directly off of their corporate website.
Yeah,
that is the
that's
official name. It is a 3D.
Without everybody
thingamabobber.
that helps us, how else would Pete be able to afford that ridiculous hat?
It's not a ridiculous hat. It has a little pompon at the end, and it's green, unlike the red one that the big guy wears. I don't want anyone to confuse me with Santa because I'm a maker and I'm kind-hearted and a carpenter.
You look more like an elf.
But guys, we can't do this two-faced thing. We partnered up with a huge corporation as well, and we're weirdly proud of it.
It's not huge. It's thick. It's a girthy corporation.
Girthy, and it's not what both of you think, you perverts. I
try not to think.
Set up a Discord for all of our patrons, all of our paid tier patrons, $2 and up, all the way up to the secret 5th tier, are going to be now automatically added to our Discord, where we're going to be doing, there's general chat there. You can share your projects with woodworking, CNC, laser cutting. You can ask questions there so the community can help you out and answer questions as well as us. And of course, there's a section for you to suggest guests, give us feedback, kickback, write in questions and all that fun stuff. And then we're also just going to have just some general chat in there where we can BS and catch up with each other and whatnot. So if you're a paid patron, you can go to patreon.com, make sure your Discord name is added in there, and you will automatically see it in your Discord channel. If you don't know what it is, okay, boomer, and that's okay. We still love you. Like Dan.
What's a Discord?
Dan set up a Discord
today
with the help of his son, who is going to be, 12 in a couple of days?
2 days.
2 days. There you go.
2
On
days?
the solstice. So make sure to go check that out. If you're a patron, you want to join us, there's going to be a lot of good info in there. Not to mention, we listed all of our discount codes for all the brands we work with, so you guys can just one-stop shopping for everything, including
just
code
in time for Christmas.
AWP at all of our shops. Dan and Braden's will get you 10%. Mine is 11%. For no reason.
I'm telling
petty.
Menards.
I'm petty.
Mine's bumped to 11.5 now.
I'm going to put mine down to 9.5.
You don't even have to mail anything in. No receipt. Just write a checkout. But that's going to be great. So make sure to check that out. And I also want to give a huge shout out to our patron. I'm sorry, our sponsor this week. That is Bill Burkle at WTB Woodworking. We've been working with him for a while now. He's doing some great stuff over at his Huntingdon Valley PA store. Opened that up. He's bringing in new brands constantly. He just recently partnered up with Nick from Stated Woodco. So he's getting his acrylic templates for cutting charcuterie boards and cutting boards there, as well as all the brands we love. And not just like any brands. He doesn't have the mouse crafts in there. He's got Festool. He's got Microjig. He's got Chillpoxy. They're doing demos there, and they do lives. Anytime they do a demo and they bring a vendor in, they try to do a live and share that information. They just did a giveaway for the Festool drill. I don't think I won, but I'm still holding out hope. I don't know.
We did not. I checked.
I am holding out hope that someone that won isn't going to answer. We'll see. But they are giving away something new and exciting. They're giving away the Fuji sprayer, the Mini Mate 4 Platinum system.
That's a nice sprayer.
All in one kit. It's awesome. Fuji makes amazing sprayers, so highly recommend checking that out. Go to wtbwoodworking.com/giveaway and sign up today. And that giveaway is going to be running for, I believe, about 2 months. Through February 21st. So right before Workbench Con, they're going to announce it, and definitely get your name in the hat. And if you need anything, go check out the store for awesome deals. That is all.
Link in the show notes.
Link in the show notes. Oh, I have this sound.
Guys, I want to take like a second to give us like a firm athletic pat on the hiney. We said that we were going to start doing some more stuff, and we did a giveaway, and then the next week we set up the Discord, and then Dan downloaded Discord,
and there's that like Makers for St. Jude thing.
We're crushing it. Like,
We're just
I know
three
we're
grown men
fantastic.
trying our best.
Look,
Cheers.
You just wait for 2025. We got big things coming.
Yeah, we've got concepts of ideas that are going to be fantastic.
Things
Dan
will be
wants to
happening.
Dan wants to do monthly giveaways.
I'm telling you, monthly giveaways. That's where it's at.
If
We can do it.
We're going to do many a giveaway.
I'm saying monthly, and you can hold my feet to the fire on this one.
All right. Dan, you're in charge of giveaways now. So
Braden's in charge of giveaways, but I'm just saying.
How the turntables.
Yes, they do be turning.
I am excited to see what we do next year, though. I think we've been taking some feedback from some
Nick,
of our patrons,
just mainly Nick.
some of our VIPs,
Mostly
our
Nick Brim.
Secret.
Nick had a lot to say to us when we were sitting around that fire in Jersey.
He did, and he did not pull those.
He was
punches.
like, "You pieces of like, how could you do this to the patrons?"
Honestly, I still haven't been able to look him directly in the eye since that conversation.
I know.
Not since the
been
incident.
Well, it might have something to do with the way he put his hand on your leg too, but
I do, on a serious note, want to give credit to Braden. Braden was the one that introduced us to Mike Suter initially with Makers for St. Jude. You brought it up for this as an extra bonus giveaway, and you guys, I'm gonna censor this. You guys don't around. You took that at like, extra entries plus I can do good, and you guys went ham. Actually, huge shout out to Bill Burkle, the sponsor, because he dropped, I think, $500, right? Yeah, $500 donation.
He really wants a 3D printer.
He like he needs it. He's got a little tiny warehouse of them, but he's just dude, like he's the most generous guy ever. I do love Bill. And all of our patrons, you guys are amazing for actually donating. If you haven't donated yet, like I highly recommend it. We really want to hit that goal. Because one of our big goals for 2025 was we want to try to push this as an extra initiative. Like we've got a platform. If we can do a little bit of good, and I could not feel like trash when at ShopRite I say no, thank you. I don't want to donate to, like child cancer research. Like I can be like, do you know who I am? I have my own page. Been there, done lap. Okay, so
I like that.
I'm really excited to be doing this. It makes me feel really good. I'm really glad Braden brought it up, and you guys just crushed it. It's amazing, and I can't wait for us to raise more money than all the other corporate people.
We're just so proud of you guys, and to thank you, we're gonna try. We're trying just a little bit harder than normal.
We're gonna do gooder. We're gonna do gooder.
We're gonna go from here to here. We're gonna level up, as the kids say. So
when you said here to here, your hand stayed at the same height.
It's a small increment.
It went up a little. That's a lot. And if you could see my fingers, you would know.
Yeah, it was here to here, but on the same scale as what we set the goal as for St. Jude's. It's a big jump, but because up here is 1 million, like it just looks small.
Yeah. Braden, when he set up the page, he just set the goal as $1 million. So,
listen, I'm not here to half heiny it.
No, I appreciate it. I just noticed, I was like, we raised $1,000, which is 0% of our goal. But hey, cancer doesn't sleep. Neither does the research. So let's keep raising money. It's good stuff. That wasn't even a pitch. I'm just really excited about it. I'm stoked.
We are real razzle-dazzled.
Guys, it's less than a week till Christmas.
Oh God, don't say that.
Hush your mouth.
And like less than a day before like any shipment you make makes like no difference for Christmas, Dan. I don't know why. I just wanted you to know that.
I got 4 tables to box up in the morning.
Oh,
but you cleared out your Shopify orders, which I'm really proud of. And yes, I did check that when I was setting up your AWP discount for the Discord.
Thank you.
Geez, end of the year craziness.
I'm almost caught up on Etsy, and we can talk about that more when I do what's on my bench. But
why don't we do that? Or do you want to do the news?
Do it.
Should we do the news? Or
do we have anything in news?
No.
We gotta.
We made it up like normal. We're gonna wing it. Give us the news.
I'm panicking.
Good news.
I'm doing it again because the audio wasn't right.
Good news, everyone.
There we go. Sorry, my beer was in the way of it.
Hit him with the remix one more time. Third time's a charm.
Good news, everyone.
There we go. That's the best.
He was trying to scratch.
DJ, because I can't scratch. I have to start and end.
We won't do that again in 2020.
I don't know. We don't really do a lot of research, but like Keith Johnson did a video. It's bent lamination. It's burl. It's a lot of lights, CNCing brass. Actually, pretty interesting stuff. I guess go watch it. That's all. That's all I'm giving you.
Start charging him.
That's all I'm giving you.
Mentions.
Well, because here's the thing. It's pre-Christmas week, and most content creators aren't really dropping any content. I know for a fact that Keith is way behind on this video, so that's why he's dropping it now. But like most people are just not dropping a lot of content right now. Huge news in shop updates. What's his name? Drew Witch, right?
Drew Whitaker.
Drew Whitaker. He has a poop pipe in his shop now, and he's
the technical term is poop tube.
Poop tube. So he's framing out a bathroom. That's exciting. Cool, I guess. Bought a Ryobi drill to try it out. Cool. Apparently Suman likes her show. That's news. I don't know.
Let me know when Drew gets that urinal trough.
Listen, it's basically just a 1-car garage. If it was 5 square feet bigger, then I would care.
Oh, and Jackman's calendar dropped. I hear this year it's semi-nude. So I'm saving this for January 1st, guys.
Wait, which half?
Yes.
Oh no.
What else do we have?
And
you had a whole list.
Over at the Maker's Workshop is doing her gingerbread mansion build thing that she does every year.
You did mention that in the pre-show.
Somebody mentioned it, and I thought I'd bring it back up.
Boo this man.
Yeah, if you don't know, Brooke over at the Maker's Workshop every year, or for the past couple years, I think, she makes a local to her mansion out of gingerbread. And I don't know exactly what the significance is of the mansion she chose this year, but it's big and extravagant, and it's got a lot of details, and she gets really heavy into it, and she makes all the details and stuff.
Old money, Dan.
Which is ironic because I watched the video and the lady describing the mansion said it was a new money mansion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of the style, like the big windows and the big front.
There's a Dogeung, right? They have the Ethereum atrium.
It's cool. It was really cool last year. I expect nothing less than awesome again this year. So go check it out. I think she's posting about it on Instagram and TikTok
and
possibly YouTube.
They're doing a YouTube video on it too.
Okay. All right. Go check it out. Maker's Workshop.
Yeah. Speaking of Brooke and YouTube videos, she did a video where she's done a couple of like sewing projects because they're full blown making. They do everything. She did one where she made her own version of an Hermes bag, which is like it's like basically the only way I could describe it. It's a festal sustainer, but made of gold, right?
What?
So like that's the equivalent. So this thing, you can't even buy this bag. It's like one that you get offered to even look at it to have the option to buy. If you're there enough, it's like the secret 5th tier of AWP, right? And she built this thing and was like, this is just a fun project because it's crazy that this thing costs $40,000 in real life.
What the heck?
And she made it on a news with that, which is pretty cool. So, you never know what one of your projects, the daily news, like
good news, everybody.
Yeah, boy, I could do the thing.
Good news, everyone.
There we go. Yeah. So,
everyone.
I actually liked yours, Dan. That was good. So that's pretty exciting. So congrats to her, and go check out her YouTube channel.
There you go.
Awesome. I have a little snippet of Maker News that I have just gotten approval to share.
Oh.
Alex Duffykins, our patron, today
of House Duffy
was officially locked in as a speaker at AWSF this July in Vegas.
What? That's awesome.
Another Woodshop Southwest podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They reach out to him because of all of his YouTube videos, teaching how to like run on the CNC. And my guess is that they probably saw his episode of
AWP.
The podcast
no
of
doubt,
AWP.
no doubt.
100%.
No doubt that was what pushed it over the edge. But he's going to be teaching 2 separate classes there about integrating a CNC into your business.
I'm certain that the fine folks at AWFS are going to ask us to come and join them.
They
sooner or
probably
later.
wanted to
teach.
already, but they're like, but we don't have a podcasting
Have you checked
department.
our spam folder?
I have.
Or sped message?
It's a lot of weird nudity. It's not
a lot of
there's
cease and
no-
desists.
Yeah. No, isn't that the one? It's in July. Isn't that when you're taking the great trek to the East Coast?
Yes.
So Pete can come. You just can't.
Yeah, you can stay at my house.
Hey,
now.
yeah, if you could just leave your key under
You're
the
just
mat,
house
that'd
sitting.
be great. Thank you. I'd be okay
But
with
yeah,
that.
just learned that today, and then I messaged him and I got the approval. I didn't want to blow up his spot, as the kids say.
That's cool. Congrats, Alex. That's dope.
Nice.
Do we have anything else?
Alex
That's
is
the
also a
news.
patron.
I'm
He's-
all maker newsed out, I think.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I guess let's talk about the thing that we do all the tool work on. The thing. What do you call that again?
What's on my bench?
That thing.
Oh, I thought you were going to play the other thing.
Oh, this one? No, wait, that's not it. No, that's the
No.
intro. How about this
No.
one?
And his name is John C.
No.
Okay.
Never
just-
mind.
I wish I had more of a musical element to it. Pete, do you think you could hook me up with maybe a song?
You want a song?
I do want a song. That's not what I was thinking, but that
not
is
going the right direction.
No, is this that you don't want that? I have sexual healing too, and purple rain. No,
I have
and
therapy.
and purple sexual healing.
yeah. I also have Dan using any power tool ever.
That's what I thought you were going to play. When
No,
you
that-
mentioned power tools.
You saved that for a special moment and special lady.
So Dan dipped somebody in something in the shop today.
And Dan literally dipped somebody in glue today.
I did no such thing.
Oh
Well,
my god.
What with that little teaser, that little hint? Why don't Dan? What's on your bench this week, bud?
I did actually play the bench intro, right?
Yes, you did.
All right, so Dan, talk about sugarcoating your employee.
Oh,
Well, we'll get to that. You know, it's been a long week. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't quite pie, but it was kind of cakey.
hate this. This is my brother we're talking
Okay.
about. You spit his name with respect.
First of all, as everybody has probably guessed, I've been very busy trying to get Etsy orders out. Now, I will say, I think like a week ago, maybe a little bit longer, there were 96 orders in my Etsy queue just over a week ago.
Humble brag much?
That just shows that I'm that far behind. And a little bit of a humble brag.
Big deal.
I'm kind of
big deal,
proud.
Dan.
However, I was really, really behind. I had a lot of orders that were overdue. People were messaging me. They were coming after me. They were filing Etsy cases. Like, I was getting super crazy overwhelmed, but we've got that all kind of caught up. I'm down to 21 orders in my queue and only 3 are overdue, which I'm going to be boxing up those tomorrow morning.
Dan, I'm so proud of you. I love feeling proud of you. It doesn't happen often enough. I'm just kidding. It happens all the time. But knocking down your Etsy queue is
It's been a bit of a struggle. One of the things that Etsy will do to you if you are that far behind, they even send you a message and say, "Hey, we've noticed you've been slipping, and that's going to hurt your Etsy ranking and searches." So, and it totally happens because the last 2 or 3 days, I've got maybe 2 orders, and today I kind of started clearing stuff out with all the packaging and everything I've been doing. And I think today alone, I've gotten 12 orders. So I'm like, I'm back,
Not
baby.
bad.
I'm
back.
So
He's not
Anyway.
John Cena anymore.
it's a pretty stressful time of year. You know, you don't want to let anybody down with Christmas gifts and stuff. And I'm doing the best I can. Now, let's talk about what I had Sutton do today.
Let's talk
So-
about sex, baby.
Let's talk about
Oh.
Sutton, baby.
Taking orders, another one just came in.
He's back.
Every now and then when we
Wait, is this a
Like a-
segment? Is this a segment? Is this the little Sutton pet segment?
a little something,
Little Sutton.
We need a jingle for that.
Yeah, we how about
It's
this?
John Cena! His name is
Sutton.
So, occasionally when we have a little lull in the production, like when we're waiting for tables to glue up or just stuff to dry, sometimes that
You
happens.
paper mache your employee.
You'll gently hold hands and think of the future.
I'll have him go to the scrap shelf and get some of the Dan scraps out and
What the
slice
hell?
them up. Hey, bro, I got a business to run too.
I'm trying to feed my family here, Dan.
They can survive on the cheap ramen. Okay. So I'll have him go over there and slice everything up into like really thin strips, and then we'll glue them all together and make a little pattern out of them. But Sutton, bless his heart, he's not the fastest gluer ever.
Gluer upper.
Yeah. He's very meticulous. He takes his time, which is understandable. I appreciate that. And normally when we do those, we use Tybon 3 because it has a longer open time, and that's the only reason we use it. But I don't have any. I ran out like a couple weeks ago and I haven't replaced it because I've been using Bossdog wood glue. Anyway, because I got that dog in me. So I was thinking, like, how can I speed up this process? Because he's got like 100, literally 100 little strips that he needs to glue together and make a board out of. And if he starts gluing them, and by the time he gets to the end, like the front half is going to be starting to cure, and it's you don't want that. You want to get them all glued up as fast as possible.
Not up in here.
So I was looking around my shop and I found an old silicone mold that I've used in the past to make like river boards and stuff. And I was like, I got a great idea. So I got this silicone mold out and I just dumped like a gallon of glue in this thing. And he's looking at me going, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, just take the piece and dunk it in, and then boom, it's glued up. It should be a really quick process. Bang, bing, bang, boom. And
the old dip and drop.
the old dip and drop. Thank you. You get it. That's actually like a machine you can buy. You can buy like a giant glue machine where it keeps the glue circulating.
Yeah.
You can just dip in the board.
The dip and drop.
I was mistaken. I was thinking Dippin' Dots. I'm sorry. I was thinking something totally different.
Yeah, the ice cream.
I also couldn't help but notice that you were going with these full glue gooey boards. You were just going bareback on some like iron pipe and the pipe clamps. There was no glue, there was no tape, nothing.
No.
We're
just raw dogging it.
Yeah.
Raw dogging the boss dog. Oh, there's a show title.
Oh no, there goes the sponsorship.
No poppy.
Anyways, the idea I had in my head was he would just take the piece and dip it down and it'd have glue on one surface. And he's taking these pieces and just fully plunging them into the glue and just like completely covering them, bringing them out. He's wearing rubber gloves and he's just like making sweet love to these with the massaging of the pieces and everything.
Caressing.
Like, what the hell are you doing? He goes, this is an awful idea. I'm like, well, you're doing it wrong, first of all. But anyways, I made some great content out of it. So that's really what.
Sure was something.
Listen, nobody.
It's really what set it apart.
Nobody rubs glue all over your wood the way that you rub glue all over your own wood, and I think we all get that.
What I took away from that video was that he was getting a good glue coverage on there when he grabbed a fresh piece. You could just use whatever was on the gloves still.
if you go back and watch that video, it's like the latest reel on my page.
Oh my god!
I'm sure I won't put up any more
unless
content.
you're listening to this in the future, which
but
hopefully
if you go back and watch that, he actively grabs glue, like a handful of glue from under the glue up itself, and puts it on the piece because it was dripping down onto the table so bad.
Like I imagine like it would have just been quicker to like have like one of those like rubber rollers and just go up down on the other side.
I've bought those for him.
Have you tried teaching
I'm actively always trying to help his process in his mental state.
Trying to help, but then when he starts doing dumb, crazy stuff, you're like, wait, hang on. Hey, hang on. I got to get my phone. Just keep
Everything
going.
is content.
I bought those glue bottles that have a roller attached to them. The ones you can get from Rockler. They're actually handy. I think they were great.
You know what else is handy? Hands.
Our patrons?
He's not fast enough when he just uses his hand though.
Obviously,
like
you pay him by the hour. Why do you think he goes so slow? He's working that.
Maybe I should bump him to piecework where he gets paid by the piece.
Yeah,
I do have two genuine questions.
What's up?
Dan, you're notorious for fighting the system. By the system, yes. I mean like what a shop your volume would have and be functional and like a planer. Have you thought about some kind of glue machine device or one of the ones that like you press down?
Like one of those ones where you like feed it through and it glues?
Either that or even the ones that are like, it's like almost like a honeycomb and you press a thing and it lifts it up and you just tap your piece.
Yes.
The honeycomb.
Those are real expensive. Those are real expensive.
But Daniel,
what about like a Temu cheese and or chocolate fountain machine?
Now somebody mentioned that on my post. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been
just
Malcolm, actually.
Fondue station?
Like a fondue fountain. I think it was Malcolm.
Pete, sorry, I cut you off there. What were you saying?
No, that like, have you thought about doing like a glue machine? Like,
yes, I have. Those are expensive.
One of the people that you do similar work to, I think it's 21 and Pine is the account. She also makes like side tables. That's actually like their whole business is mainly tables and stuff. They have one of those machines, and I've seen them just do glue ups because they're constantly gluing up panels like you are, like all the time. So you just bang out glue ups instead of having to squeeze, spread with my finger. They literally just touch it to the thing and then attach it to the next thing. It saves them hours.
I'm sure it does, but like, and I do a good volume, but like, I don't think I'm at that level of volume just yet. Plus, I'm running out of room in my shop really quick. Like, where would I put this thing?
Listen, we'll reorganize your shop again.
I'm not buying a glue machine just to reorganize my shop. It's not happening.
No, you're going to reorganize your shop because you bought a glue machine.
I like that. That's good. Yeah.
I've thought about it. I don't think I'm at that level yet.
That says the guy that just got a planer.
We'll revisit this next week.
And that planer is amazing, by the way. I don't know if I've said this before. But
you're real riled about the planer.
Yeah.
Like, bro, it's got a finish quality on there that's spray ready.
Wait till you chip one single tooth.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got the finish of a couple of blades that have never been used for 300,000 hours straight.
Oh yeah, it's a helical head, so I can just turn the blades 90 degrees.
Regulation helical head.
I had another question, but I'm blanking on it. But go ahead.
I was going to say I'm done. Pete, you talk about your stuffs.
You and me. So you're talking about, you're stressed out. You're trying to catch up on orders.
Yeah. But I'm feeling better. I'm feeling
once
good.
Again, let me talk about how I'm failing as a product seller this year, and I don't have a lot of orders. I had a bunch this week, so I'm getting the last set of stuff out that will hopefully make it there by Christmas. The last set of stuff is probably getting shipped by tomorrow, maybe Friday if it'll make it. We'll see.
Don't worry, Pete. This is a safe place. Tell us how much you suck.
The whole thing about sucking though is I'm really enjoying my December. Like it's almost bringing tears to my eyes.
December to remember?
Honestly, if this was an event, this would be a December to remember sales event because of how low the sales are, right? Oh man, the APR is so low on my shop right now. That's one of the things they sell. They try to sell you.
The APR,
the annual Peter rate.
Yeah. It's only 1,000 down, guys.
1,000% down.
But like, there's something to be said about not being a product-based business around December, and obviously I'm still selling stuff, but I am not overwhelmed like I've usually been. I usually would be bashing my head into the wall and being overwhelmed. We still forget it's Thursday every week for the last like 3 weeks or 3 years.
It sneaks up on me every week.
It really sneaks up on you. I even messaged you guys on Tuesday. I forget Wednesday didn't even exist, and then today Braden goes, "It's Thursday." It's just so nice to actually get to enjoy Christmas before Christmas and not like work all the way up till and then try to squeeze in a few days of like, oh, I'm relaxed, but I'm also still back to work or whatever. So really enjoying my December right now. So I am financially miserable for the shop, Emotionally, I'm feeling great. This is actually awesome. So I'll approve it. Aside from that, guys, I've done no actual making. It's all been like honey-do list stuff, cleaning up the basement, getting the house ready for family. We have a hurricane coming up north that we have to get ready for. Yeah, it's
metaphorical.
Metaphorical. It's my two nephews. One's 7, one's 1.5.
Okay.
And my house is going to get absolutely wrecked. Everyone's like, you should move your ornaments up. And I'm like, let me see what damage it does first before I batten down my hatches.
I think now is a perfect time to test the durability of those ornaments.
Exactly. You know, I want to test my off-road capability of my house before our kid grows up.
Right.
Does your house need wheels and tires?
I'm just putting snow chains on my house, basically, just to survive the next 2 weeks.
Just a chain up and over the top, like how they like strap down the roofs in Florida.
It's fine. Yeah. And like halfway through them staying here, someone's going to come over and they're going to test my brakes with a thermometer to make sure I'm not descending too fast into madness. You guys in flat states, you don't get that joke. That's a mountain joke.
I get it. Yeah, and there's a runaway road.
Yeah, you go up the hill.
On the side. Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually it's a secret shortcut. You have to go fast enough that you ramp over the mountain.
I've played Mario
Kart. I've played Mario Kart.
I've done that in GTA.
Gone through the Blue Ridge Mountains down in like South Carolina. They make those ramps and you can jump the mountains. They don't want you to know that.
It's all physics.
But guys, aside from like 3D printing some stuff, working on some little fun projects and honey-do lists, I've been doing absolutely effing nothing, and it's kind of awesome. Just work and crap, and it's great. So anyways, that's it. Braden, what's on your bench?
This is going to be the fastest what's on your bench that we have ever done, and I'm proud of us. So I'm going to ramble about nothing for the next 45 minutes, just to make sure we keep
no. Let's still keep it 2 hours.
I am very similar to you, Pete. I don't have a ton of stuff that I'm making. I'm still working on the kitchen island, actually, and by still working on, I mean I've started it finally. I finally hit the point where like, hey, are you going to start that? I was like, I guess I should. So I've been cutting out cabinet pieces on the Onefinity, which is a lot of fun. I will say that if you do a lot of cabinets, my expectation is probably that using software that's designed to lay out cabinets probably works a lot better and would have saved me from a lot of rage.
Software is pricey.
How much Zaic are you using? Are you using less Zaic or Mosaic?
No, I'm using zero Zaic.
No Zaic.
I am, as you would say in the glue world, boss dogging it. There, thanks, Dan.
I'm trying to figure out if it's an insult or a good thing.
Maker news. Bossdog now sells barrels of glue.
55-gallon barrels. Okay, I'm adding that.
All right, sorry. Go
on. They call it the dog bowl. Oh no. We're either definitely going to get sponsored or never going to get sponsored.
Wait, I need a Bossdog glue that's sold in a tiny little barrel that's attached to a Saint Bernard. Like in all the cartoons where they just had liquor in it. Because apparently apparently that rescued people off the mountain. Like, oh, you fell and broke your leg. Here's some bourbon.
It warms you up. It makes you feel all warm inside.
It doesn't actually warm you up. It just thins your blood vessels so you feel warm, Nick, as the hypothermia kicks in and you die.
This is an opportunity here. Like you can do the Saint Bernard keg.
Oh no.
Sorry, go on.
But anyway, so the reason that I bring up software is I've been like manually plotting out all of my dados, which works fine as long as you're meticulous. But the second that you don't select one line as you're moving stuff around onto pages or changing sizes, the whole thing goes to shit. And I had an entire cabinet that came out and it was going to be perfect. And I had several that lined up perfectly. It was great. And I went to put this one together and I thought I was having like a legitimate stroke. Like my brain could not function why this cabinet was not fitting correctly. And the data was off and it was like crooked. And I was like, what is wrong? Where did I do this wrong? Because it's definitely my fault. I messed something up. And finally I went back and looked. I'm like, oh yeah, I just shorted the base by like 5 inches.
Sharded the base.
Which was set to adjust size based on percentages, which meant my dado changed size and everything was wrong. So it was basically the whole cabinet was like shrunk down by 20% or something like that. So luckily it was just one sheet of plywood. It was my spare sheet because I knew I was going to mess something up. But let me tell you, plotting out cabinets on a CNC and having it cut like all your dados and everything, when you assemble it and it goes together perfectly, it is just like Pete, give me some audio. Your choice.
I don't have anything ready. You should have like queued me up.
Oh no.
Well, I got one. Ready?
Okay.
Ready?
It's
ready?
like that's exactly how I felt. I was pumped. But I mean,
you feel it in your Pedro, right?
Oh, I felt it in my Pedro. But I mean, it slides together. You stick some glue on it, throw in some brad nails, and get it out of the way. Like, I get how cabinet makers are just like pumping these things out. So I'm working on those. I've got some backers that I've got to get finished up, and then now I've got to do drawers, which I'm real excited because I'm ordering the drawers. I'm not going to.
Oh, you are doing it. Where are you getting them?
ordering. I have no idea. I found one website that does.
Message Keith.
Keith has his. I was going to compare the two that I found.
They're like
probably get them on Temu. I'm telling you.
$5 a drawer.
Yeah,
which seems steep, but the amount of labor, take my money.
That's
Temu,
it.
If you buy 4, you'll get 5 free.
Get out of here.
And I think it just depending on if they come with slides or not, like it ends up.
They don't. No.
Okay. So the website that I found, you have an option to get slides or not. But yeah, I mean, just based on what it costs, like I built in the cost of these being built.
I don't know.
I built in the cost of them being built and being shipped to me, thinking, hey, I'll be able to recoup that because I'll end up being a pretty traditional maker that can't not make something, and I'll make them myself, and it'll just be extra revenue. But I think I'm gonna order them. Like I got too much else going on. I can build a box. I've proven it. There's several large boxes. I don't need the small ones to prove it. So I need to get those ordered. And
so there's something about even just finishing drawers, especially for a kitchen. As someone that literally just did the island this year, like you don't want necessarily like. Boy. Here's the thing: you spraying lacquer, like lacquer lays down so nice. It lays down a nice thick coat. It's great. I have no issues with it. I love like General Finishes or Halcyon, especially General Finishes. It goes on nice. It goes on so thin. You have to do so many coats of it because the reason is you want it to be water resistant a little bit, or like spot resistant if possible. Life resistant. And honestly, like something like General Finishes or Halcyon, you want to prove that if you put a wet bowl in there, you're not gonna have a spot for the next 10 years. Pantry. You can get away, like I have to do a pantry next. I can get away with lacquer. So I might do them because after doing the kitchen, I'm like, next time I'm redoing my kitchen, the kitchen's getting drawers ordered. Like 100% because they're going to spray them. I select the finish and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But depending on where stuff is going, like a bathroom and stuff, a drawer, like you might want to possibly maybe spray it with something a little water resistant. So, and
that's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve here is I don't want to have to deal with finish, especially with it being 18 degrees. And our wind was like 60 miles an hour.
It's spraying season right now.
I'm not looking to spray right now. I don't have room to set up a spray booth. If I move my wife's car out into the driveway and I take over the one spot in our garage that I promised I would never encroach on, and then still put sheet goods over there.
Oh, you encroached on it.
I won't be on the next episode of AWP because my body will be in a shallow grave. So I have no room for a spray booth. I don't feel like dealing with it. And I'm doing undermount slides too. And you got to do the dados to assemble it. You got to do the joinery. You got to then like put it in the little hole in the back so that the undermount slides.
You had me put it in the hole in the back.
Ayo. But who's got time for that? Like I don't have time for it. Pete?
I have a suggestion. And I'm going to get a lot of hate, especially from Dan on this. For Blum undermounts, if you're doing
Blumpkin.
those, Blumpkin undermounts, for most of the undermounts, they have to be a certain dimension because certain space like has to line up with the actual tracks and all that stuff. Do yourself a favor, measure in metric, cut everything in metric. Because you're not like I'm holding on to the sheets because I have PTSD from it. From my first time installing Blum drawer slides undermounts in fractions and the math I had to do, I was literally, my brain was melted by the end of the night. So now I'm like, nope, metric, because then it's just millimeters. That's it. And I don't have to worry about anything else. Boom. Dan, you can cancel me. It's fine. But I highly recommend if you're going to do drawer slides, just mess around with metric for a little bit. Just dip your toe in.
Speaking of measuring and metric, feel free to visit Millimeter Peter, spelled MMPETER.com.
Yep.
For a tasty holiday treat.
Site. Yep. Great site.
But yeah, and that's the thing. Like where I'm looking at ordering these drawers from, they factor in exactly which slides I'm going to use.
Okay,
So the Blum slides, and
you
so
just
I don't
say
have
my
to do,
opening.
I don't have to do any of that math.
Okay.
I just have to measure. I need this deep and call her good. So I think that'll make life easy. But I'm also doing a slide out trash drawer in this island, and I'm also doing a slide out spice rack. Like there's so much going on here, and I'm going to like face frame half of it so it's finished and transport it in 2 parts. Like there's enough moving parts. I don't have to care about drawers. I can be a woodworker without building these drawers.
I don't know.
Quarter ass at best.
But other than that, I'm not really doing a ton. I've got a couple of random orders that have come in. I actually had somebody that found us from the craft fair come and they wanted some more whiskey smokers. So they actually came and picked them up. They wanted like a 12-hour. Hey, can you personalize these? I'll order 4 right now. I was like, sure, absolutely. They'll be ready.
Twisted my arm. Right? I'll try to squeeze you in.
So I mean, that was kind of nice. She was super excited that we got them. I got them done so fast. And so that was a couple days ago. I want to talk about Facebook Marketplace for just a second.
Go.
That's what's on my bench, but I think this is a fun topic. I am selling some tools on Facebook Marketplace because it's free it's free in terms of marketing stuff. And usually if I need something gone fast, I can get it gone there. What is like the weirdest stuff that you have had people reach out with on Facebook Marketplace? Because I am getting the weirdest people reaching out and wanting to trade. And I do this every time. Hey, I don't want to deal with trades. And then the second somebody says, hey, are you open to trades? I'm like, no, but what have you got? Maybe. Let's see. And it's always a subwoofer. It's always like speakers.
That's the cryptocurrency for bros.
I think that is. Pete, is it like that in Jersey? Like if you sell something on Facebook Marketplace, is like subwoofers or car audio stuff, is that like currency? That's like the drug money. That's like
I've seen people try to trade weird stuff. I have seen audio equipment trying to be traded before. Car parts are like, that's more if you're looking for tools. I feel like sometimes people will like throw a car part at you, but it's a thing, man. People try to barter. And like, sometimes I get it. Sometimes like, hey, I'm selling my lawnmower. And they're like, hey, I'll trade you a quad. And like, you know what? Yeah. Sometimes it's a good deal, but like, but you know, I mean, listen, this guy shot a shot. Let's just say that. And maybe, you know what? There's a lesson to be learned. Maybe we get ballsy. Maybe you see a saw stop on Marketplace and go, hey, I have a printer.
Well, and that's the thing. And it's like, it's any tools, it's not this one specific tool that I'm selling right now. But it's like everything, and not 5 minutes after this guy asked about the subwoofer, I had another guy reach out and said, hey, the thing that you're selling, would you take a trade? And literally in the 5 minutes it took from that first time, I completely forgot that no, trades never works out and I'm just wasting my time. Yeah, what have you got, man? Like I'm not interested in trades, but I'm interested
curious,
in
right? Because what are they
And,
going to hit you with?
Long shot here, but 2300 watt generator. It's a Dusty Champion brand Harbor Freight generator.
No.
Oh, okay, hang on, 2300 watts though. That's pretty good.
You're a generator guy. I don't know a lot.
It's not enough to run your house.
This looks like a girthy gas can to me.
Listen, if there's one thing I learned from watching not Donald Trump, sorry, Forrest Gump. I don't know why it rhymed in my head, and I said
that makes sense though.
Yeah. Forrest Gump is that Jenny can't be trusted. Sorry, that was a terrible reach around for that joke. But here's the thing. I don't trust a used anything with a motor as far as I could throw it.
Especially from Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee, Dan, do you remember earlier this year when we had like the rolling blackout that was like 5 or 6 days long in some parts of the city?
Oh yeah, that wasn't a rolling blackout. That was from a storm.
Yeah, well, yeah, not a rolling blackout, but the blackout.
Yeah,
like, people didn't have power, remember. And everybody bought a generator. I guarantee this generator was purchased.
Oh, yeah,
I get the receipt. It's from them.
Here's the thing. What I like for where I live, I need a generator, and I have a decent one. I don't know. I wouldn't trust a used one. Does it look really bad?
That does not.
No, I'm not. Disregard the generator right here. But what I see right here is a saw blade packaging, which means there's maybe tools in this garage.
Oh.
And I might ask this guy, like, hey, why don't you zoom out? Why don't
you are a glutton. You are a glutton for punishment,
man. What you're saying is they might have a Dusty generator, and it might also be a lumber company. So Dusty Lumber Co.
I like that.
I don't think he lives in Nebraska.
No, definitely not.
Definitely. Well, North Omaha.
Definitely
north of Omaha. Sorry, that's what I meant.
That is technically correct. Yes.
But what I'm thinking here is like that's a saw blade, but like, you know, hey, this thing, maybe that's the side of like a saw stop.
Here's the thing.
You're wasting your time sleuthing on the marketplace.
No. Here's what you do. You channel your inner subwoofer guy and you go, I'm not in for the generator. What else you got?
Yeah.
And you might
got
like,
any subwoofers?
I got a DeWalt 735 with a helical head in it. It's, I don't really use it much.
Ironically, I would probably take that deal because I know how to sell a planer.
The planer is minimum $400, and then the helical head is like another $400. That's worth it,
especially if it's regulation. So
yeah.
But I don't know, Pete. What's the weirdest like Facebook Marketplace interaction you've ever had,
dude?
Because we were all broke in Facebook Marketplacing at one point. Like, currently, I mean, we have Nick Brim that trolls it for us now, so we don't have to be there. But
so I'm looking for. Oh, I'm always looking, right? I was looking. This is years ago. This is I want to say 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago at this point. And I'm looking on Marketplace, and this guy's selling a rigid saw, and I at the time have my little DeWalt contractor saw built into a table
saw.
Table saw. Sorry. So I'm getting the rigid table saw, and this is the old school cast iron top. Not only that, it's the one that has the pass-throughs cut through it because it was meant for like to put a clamp through and clamp a custom-made featherboard because back then they didn't have like featherboards and stuff. So anyways, I hit up this guy and he's like, it's this price for this saw. It was like $400. And we started talking and he's like, I'm trying to sell everything. If you take everything, it's $650. And I was like, yes, because it was like, I don't think it was joiner, but it was like, I got a brand new biscuit joiner, like a DeWalt one, a bunch of routers, an old like crappy planer, like the lunchbox planers, a bunch of tools. Like immediately, like one additional tool, I was at $650 instantly.
And the first thing Pete said was, "Hey, I've got $400 in a subwoofer. What do you think?"
No, so what I did is I grabbed my dad's minivan. I grabbed Randy Bovandy before the actual transition.
Before the Vandy.
Yeah, before the Vandy. Before it was Miss Vandy. So we go and we drive into Queens. And for you guys, like, how can I put this? Imagine living on the opposite side of Omaha, then having to drive through the center of Omaha, over the bridge into Iowa, and then like another 45 minutes, but it's all traffic.
Oh, awful.
Yeah, and it's also like, imagine playing, have you ever played Mario Kart? You know, it's fun. Like
Never heard of
that,
it.
but not fun. We drive there, we get there, and
Not
it's
the turtles.
here's the part that really surprised me, and it's gonna get weird.
He just
for a
wanted your
second.
kidneys.
No, we pull up to the house, and it's a very prominently Jewish neighborhood, Hasidic Jewish, full fur coats. This is like midsummer, fur coats, the fur hats, and like full Hasidic Jewish neighborhood. We pull up, and I guess this guy was a carpenter that did some like work, but like clearly was doing it on the side.
What was his name?
I don't know, but
Did it start with a J?
he fit the bill. And like we were like loading up the tools and stuff like that, and I was like, and this is just like maybe my ignorance, but I was like, I've never met like a full-blown Jewish carpenter, like this is, except Jesus, you know, obviously, right? But it's seasonal. And like, not to be insensitive at all, but like I was just like, wow, I've never met a Hasidic Jewish carpenter. This is actually kind of like interesting and exciting.
I have met a Hasidic Jewish baker, but never a carpenter.
Yeah, well, have you ever had challah bread, bro? Challah bread slaps.
I knew it.
Dude,
It ain't
it's
no
like,
challah back bread.
it's the best bread for French toast. My guy. That is, thank you, Braden. This is why we have you on the show. Sorry, but that was my weirdest interaction, driving across state lines into Queens, which might as well just be a freaking other country where I'm located. Actually, wait, it's where I picked you up from the airport. Another 45 minutes of traffic.
I hate that.
Yeah,
Just going to the airport is more traffic. Like riding with you to the airport, not from and to, just to the airport is more traffic than Dan and I deal with in an entire year. And I hated it. I hated it.
That was my weirdest pickup for tools and stuff like that. But you never know. Like sometimes people are, you might hit this guy back up and go, what else do you have? And he's like, well, I'm actually closing up my woodworking business. I'm trying to get rid of this stuff. I got
a subwoofer.
I'm trying to sell this for this much, this for this much. Would you take 900 for all the tools? You know what? Make it 1,000 and you got a deal. And then you walk out with a saw stop. Like you never know. Go for it. Shoot your shot.
I mean, Dan and I have both ridden along on enough of those deals with each other.
Yep.
That Nick instigates every single. It's always Nick.
The
It's
one guy that
always
doesn't
Nick.
need it. It's Nick. You know why? Because Nick is still doing it for the right reason. He's still doing it for fun and as a hobby. He's enjoying it. And like we forgot what that's like. We're like, now it's like, oh, it's about money.
Yeah. If I can't get a brand to sponsor this tool, I'm not even going to use it.
It's so dumb. Sorry, I cut you off. I went on a whole thing about
No, it was good.
Facebook Marketplace.
It was very cultural. I feel like I
yeah, it was.
feel like I learned stuff.
And we got to talk about traffic, so now my blood pressure's up. So
I'm so sorry.
Why don't we shift on to something that brings my blood pressure down?
That's
Wait.
okay. I didn't have any Facebook stories.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan.
Did you, Dan?
I've been on all your
What's
Facebook
your
stories, so they're
craziest
mine.
Facebook story, Dan?
Dan, what is your favorite Facebook story?
I don't. I was joking. I don't have
Was it when Nick and I drove deep
actually
into gang territory to pick up a planer and a dust collector and then several cyclones and a flip top cart?
No. However, I do have
Just
a
the
story.
cyclone
I
stuff.
have a somewhat of a story. It's something that haunted me for years, and it continues to haunt me to this day.
The mental picture of Sutton covered in Bossdog glue.
No, that brings me a lot of joy.
You got bossed.
Like years ago, before I even moved into this current house, so it was more than 12 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
I
Did
put
they have
up
the internet back then?
believe it or not, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was slow. They called it dial-up.
Ooh. You got my dial up, if you know what I mean.
It wasn't
I don't know
that
who
long.
I'm judging.
It was at least 12 years ago, maybe a little longer. But anyways, I was trying to sell our old dining room table because we got a new one. And I was just trying to sell the table because I wanted to keep the chairs for our new table because our new table could absorb the chairs because we needed more chairs.
Oh,
Anyways.
it's a moist table.
Lunch table.
Yeah.
I don't know if absorb was the right word there, but we could use them. We had enough
Accommodate?
table. We had enough table space to include the chairs that we have with that table. So I was just trying to sell the table. And I took a picture of the table. And you could see the chairs off in the background, but they were not with the table. So I listed this on Facebook Marketplace, and I must have got 3 or 4 responses with, "Are the chairs included?" And the listing specifically said chairs are not included. So I went on a rant on my Facebook, on my personal Facebook page, about this. So all of my asshole friends, every time I list something for sale to this effing day, people will say, "Are the chairs included?"
All right, so the
It doesn't matter
Army,
what I list. It doesn't matter what I list.
Listen, AWP Army, you guys know what to do.
You sons of
Follow
bitches.
Daniel Dunlap on Facebook. If that son of a bitch ever posts anything, what do? Braden?
Are the chairs included?
Thank you very much. And that's this week's code word. We don't have a good way for that, but that's what we're just. Wait.
I knew I was going to regret
Braden,
that.
show title? Are the chairs included?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, show title.
okay.
Yeah,
Show
easy.
title. I love it. Oh, damn.
I knew when I got new friends, it
Why
would
would you-
still be a bunch of degenerates.
Why'd you keep talking?
Yeah, that's the best part about this. You spoon fed us that one, knowing exactly what would happen.
I realized what was going to happen when I was already in too deep, and I had to finish the story.
He had half the sentence out, and he's like, "Wait, I don't want to do this
no,
anymore.
no,
I want to
no."
get off this ride."
No, it didn't occur to me that it's been that long, that this has been following me for more than 12 effing years. I thought it was like 3 or 4 years ago. No, it's when I had my old house. So it was before 2012.
The audacity of people on the internet.
The
though,
audacity.
like, when you're selling stuff, the raw audacity of it's just the internet. I'm gonna shoot my shot, and I mean, people carry that audacity everywhere, like dating, Facebook Marketplace, negotiations, the McDonald's drive-through, like just the amount of people that are just like, this is what I
I
want.
challenge everybody to go through McDonald's and ask if the chairs are included.
You'd be shocked at how many things, like how many places you can get a discount if you just say, "Can I get a discount?"
Yeah.
They'll do it. I mean, they're getting paid less, $10 in a Big Mac an hour.
They don't care.
They don't care. They'll push the
You
button.
can buy the little cheese grinder at Olive Garden. You just gotta ask.
You can just ask them and have it. I went to Olive Garden at one point with a bunch of friends, and our waiter was clearly on his last day or something. He gave us
He clearly did not care.
He gave us 3 full packs of breadsticks, a cheese grater, and an entire block of Parmesan cheese.
He was about to
take
Dunlap
with us.
out of that job.
Yeah,
And
he was
that's
about
how
to take
Braden opened his own Olive Garden.
Yep,
Just the breadsticks.
Just the
That's what they call
breadsticks.
it.
just the bread tips.
Just the bread tips.
Yeah,
How did I miss that?
JTBS? JTB?
There's the show title. Just the bread tips.
No. Are
Yeah,
the chairs included?
included?
Are the chairs included as the show title? No, Dan, don't try to derail this train. This is happening.
We
Speaking
get on
of-
with
Hey Siri,
questions.
remind me at noon tomorrow that the show title is
Are the chairs included?
Are the chairs included? Thank you.
Good thing you got the reminder.
Thank you. Cool. I love the new
Speaking of-
Siri because you can stumble over your own words. And
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that is very helpful.
Wait, so do you have more on what's on a bench?
No.
Because I have something to add to mine. I went somewhere this week that blew my mind. And I genuinely want to talk about this. I completely forgot because it's so in the back of my mind. It's such a person that like never comes up, right? Never think of them at all. Anyways, so Justin Bailey. So I, for the first time ever, made it down to where Justin Bailey is set up in the wonderful state of New Jersey.
He's got a shed for a shop, right?
He's in a 1-car garage. It's like a 1-car extended, like, you have the tennis ball, but like you still have a workbench that you can walk up to. Like
A New Jersey
it's-
mansion.
a new McMansion. So he has, I will say this in the nicest way possible, I am blown away with the level of work that man has been doing for the last 5 years in that freaking space. No, none of us have an excuse. That shop it's literally like the regulation 1 car width, a little longer, but he's got a CNC in there. Do you know he flattens all of his end grain on that? He doesn't run it through the planer. Everything goes.
Not.
Well, yeah,
everything
you don't,
goes
you don't
in,
run end grain cutting boards through the planer.
Yeah, if you're a coward, you don't. But I've done that.
I might try it in the new planer.
Oh snap!
And
please
now-
record the entire section. Yeah.
After
We'll
this,
stand behind it.
After this, Dan's planer will no longer be spitting out finish grade finish.
No, you need to build a sled with a backer, like a high backer.
Don't tell me how to live my life. I'll do
Okay,
it.
so
He's gonna
watch
low
the
back
video. Okay, watch the video of Dan dying. That's gonna be fun. But
No, son's
I
gonna die.
genuinely were impressed. Like I saw his shop and I'm like, this is cool. This shop just it made me feel ways. Like it wasn't like it was like he puts in work in that shop. Everything was functional. Like he does good work. He's got his Onefinity woodworker that he's got set up there. I can't wait to see what he does when he's in a bigger place. But man, we have no excuse.
I have lots of excuses.
I'm literally all excuses.
I'm 90%
What are you talking
excuses.
about?
I had a flare up this morning with a new excuse. But yo, Justin crushes it, and now he's got his cutting board foot fetish, whatever company. Bailey Hardware Company, as I keep calling it. He won't register it for some reason. I gotta say, man, I was really impressed. I was impressed because it's cool to see other people's shops and be like, yo, you do this work here? I feel like crap now. Like, I got a 2-car garage and I do nothing.
I get that when people come into my shop, like, how do you find anything in here? I just know where things are.
How do you guys think I feel? All of the time.
Yeah, you're in a 6-car garage with a loft.
It's,
I'm basically.
I don't want to brag, but it's 19 cars.
I'm basically
19
Nick
car
Brimming it. I just like give myself the stress of running a business.
Well, we don't talk about Nick Brim. Nick Brim is in a tiny warehouse where his wife's shop is bigger than his shop. It's crazy.
And is now insulated, spray foam insulated. It's got TVs in there.
Yeah.
It's got a waiting room.
It has the NFL package.
It's got a sauna.
Yeah, well, that's just
Two
the
poop
pipe that
tubes.
keeps leaking.
2 poop tubes. His
Yeah,
and
take
hers
that,
poop
Drew.
tubes.
But yeah, anyways, just wanted to give him a shout out. Like, does good work. And also use code AWP for 3% off.
Yeah,
One
you
for
think
every
3%.
host.
you'd think with a tiny shop like that, he'd have a little bit more, a little bit less overhead and could afford more than a 3% discount.
Nope,
I don't think
one
that's how
per
that works.
host. I had to pin him to the table for that
logic?
to happen.
I thought that was
For all I know, it's 10%. He said 3, so that's what I told you guys. For all I know, it's like you check out and it's
I hope
well,
it is.
it says
3%
3% on the Discord list.
It does.
So that's
Well,
what
that
it is.
But you wrote that.
I did write that. So
Oh, jeez. Well, thanks, Justin. Also, he donated to St. Jude's, so he's okay in my book. You know, he's not as bad as his wife says, honestly.
He's
pretty
okay.
great. He's okay. Anyways, let's get into questions.
Please and thank you.
Oh, Black Betty, ram-a-lam.
Sorry, we're
Ram-a-lam.
having a lot of fun with that one. Let's listen to this question from this person. I think it's Greg D'Ambrosio.
Hey guys, it's Greg D'Ambrosio again. I've been catching up on some of your older episodes, and Dan mentioned he had a lot of interest in building a flip-top cart. I was wondering if any of you have ever built one, and whether or not they stood the test of time. Personally, I think they are an awesome idea to save on space and build skill, but I can't imagine it's good for the tool, especially something heavy like a planer, to be left for gravity to take its toll. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Dan?
Funny enough, I'm the only person in this podcast that never made a flip-top cart. So even though I have proclaimed that I want to make one, I haven't made one. But if memory serves me correctly, Braden and Pete both have. So do you guys want to fight over who goes first? Because I know you both have opinions.
Braden, go!
I feel like we both have the same strong opinions. Also, I have verified it is 3%, not 10%.
You
Thanks,
verified.
Justin.
It's for the
I
walls.
have built a flip cart. and I built mine with a steel pipe through the cart stuff, and then it's essentially a torsion box that is built around the pipe, so it flips. It's super solid. It's a really good design. When I remember who I got the plans or the inspiration from, I want to say it was Shop Nation, something like that. I got it somewhere. It was the internet. It was the Wild West. I wasn't an influencer, so I didn't know anybody. I thought it was so cool at the time, and I was trying to fit all my stuff into a one-car garage. And it's a slick idea, and it seems like a good idea, and it technically works. I cannot stand that flip cart. I hate it.
Is it that particular design, or is it
Nope.
just a flip cart in general?
It is a really, really good flip cart. I hate flip carts in general. Like they're just
okay.
It's one of those things, and maybe this is just me.
Yes.
I put like the heaviest tools I could find on that thing. I had my planer on there, and then I had maybe not the heaviest, but like the most cumbersome tools.
Well, way to
that I could
lie
find.
in your first statement and then try to rally in a second.
I'm
like we're supposed to
adjusting it
believe
on the
you now?
fly. I had my planer on there, and then I had my Craig Foreman, the big
those don't add up.
handle thing, and it's not crazy heavy, but it's really big and inconvenient. And both tools have things that flop, like that go up and down and hinge. And
That
so
sounds more like a designer, not a designer, but a user error.
As I said, this could very well just be me. And I did qualify that it is a really well-built cart. Like, it's a good design. But the amount of time that it takes me to flip stuff and move it and adjust it and make sure everything's like where it goes and it doesn't, clamp on cords, I just never flip it. I've resigned myself that I'll never use the Craig Foreman ever again. And I just use my other Craig jigs when I even do pocket holes anymore.
So instead of flipping it, you're flipping it off.
Kind of.
That's
It's
deep,
just
Dan. Nice.
Show title.
Nope.
not even
Are the chairs
close.
included?
Yeah, no. The real flip top carts are the friends that we make along the way.
That has to be a show title one day, by the way.
Okay, I'll write it down.
No,
Not for
this
this
time. Are the chairs included?
But it's just
Listen, everyone listening right now, if the title is not "Are the chairs included," you flood to the comment section on Daniel Dunlap, and you wreck this man's life.
but it's just inconvenient. Like, it seems like it would be really convenient for storage, but getting to each tool is really inconvenient. So I guess the only thing that I can give advice-wise to make this not the most frustrating thing in my shop is, if you're going to build a flip-top cart, make sure that one of the tools that you put on it, you need it like once a month or once every quarter, or make it so it's not something that you use every day or anything like that.
So
you will just absolutely lose your mind.
A planer and a biscuit joiner.
Just duct taped to the bottom. But yeah, that's my only advice, is just don't put two tools that you use with any regularity on there. Pete?
In my classic Pete way, let me tell you why you're wrong.
God, I just can't stand this guy
built
sometimes.
my flip top cart 6 years ago, 7 years at this point.
Yeah,
I keep
it's been
saying
some time.
5 years ago because I keep thinking I've been in this house less than a year. It's
And
been
10 years ago was 1990.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Yeah, the Backstreet Boys were on tour last year. Actually, they still are. Anyways, I built mine a while ago. I put my 735 DeWalt 735 planer on one side with the flip outs.
Hot.
And I put the drum sander on the other side. The planer is 99 pounds. The drum sander was 125 pounds. They
I knew
actually...
that was coming. I couldn't help it.
Which part?
I put a drum sander on a flip top cart.
But listen, and this is my Ryobi drum sander. Yeah, this is just to add fuel to the fire.
I know.
But that thing, it's the jet, and like the one that like everyone sees. It's got the big U, upside down U, as the main housing that holds it up.
You.
She. whatever, and you point at your veins for some reason. I don't know why. But that's the ones I have on there. And the thing is, they're close enough in their weight where I actually have a video of Emma flipping it upside down very easily with no trouble.
If
Number one
memory
comment,
serves me correctly, that video was one of your best performing videos ever.
several times we've reposted it, and 99% of the time the top comments are, "Where's your shoes? Nice feet." Like creeps.
The internet is the worst.
The worst people, man. But it's like it's either safety police or like just horn dogs for no reason. Not to be related to the maps guy. Like, he's great. Mitch is great. Mitch is amazing. He's good. He's good in my book. The weirdos on the internet. But so here's the thing. I built mine, and like a year later, Lee Oman like came in clutch, and he got like bearings, and like the whole thing is like he could like flip it, and his spins because he had the same planer and drum sander as me. Now here was the key too. My planer goes the long way because it's about a 2x3 foot cart. My planer goes the long way so that like the wings can come down and it's not sticking past where the body is. The drum sander is at a 90 to that because the body's wider than it is long. So essentially the thing alternates. Now I will agree with Braden on one thing. Whatever tool is up is the one you're going to favor. However, if both tools are important enough to you, you're going to flip it around. Like, I will flip it if I have to do a bunch of drum sanding.
But you're going to hate it the whole time.
I hate it because I don't have the space for standalone machines like you with your 16 car garage. If I have the space, like the second I have a shop, dedicated tools for both, 100%. But I got to say, a nice flip top cart with a pipe running through the middle. It's a torsion box. And I actually use the teeth, or what are they called? T-nuts? The ones that, like, the nuts that have the teeth on the back. So when you tighten it down.
Tease nuts.
Tease nuts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mr. Teeth Nuts. So Mr. Teeth Nuts. Not show title. Don't write that down.
I wasn't going to say anything.
No. So I actually like bolted them. I use like rock climbing hold bolts, like really heavy duty stuff. Those things don't move. And then you got to have latches on all four sides. And as I was building it, I just packed a bunch of not grease, but like paste wax in there. So the thing actually smooths, like it's pretty smooth when you rotate it. And the last thing I will say, whatever flip top cart you do or whatever cart you do in your shop, when you get your locking wheels, make sure it's the ones that locks the wheel and the rotation of the wheel at the same time. Because the crappy wheels will lock the spinning, but not the rotation. So then it'll move around as you're trying to push material through it. So highly recommended, Dan.
Okay.
You could put a glue machine on one side, your Craig Foreman on the other, and then if you're not using a glue machine, you
just glue everywhere, just out the top. But why is it sticky?
Why is it sticky? Well, that's what they said about
not a show title.
All right. Next question's from Alex of the Addams family.
Hey guys, I'm looking to figure out a gift for a company holiday party. It's not until February, so I got a lot of time. One of the things that I've done for them in the past are serving trays that are laser engraved, but they're looking for something that's in that around like $80 to $100 retail item size. I've already kind of proposed whiskey smoker sets, some games, whether it's like indoor, outdoor, knives, other stuff. And they've turned me down on all those ideas. So I'm looking for a few more ideas that you guys think might work well. Technically, this is for like being at the company for like 15 years. So they're trying to have something that's a little bit nicer. So curious what you guys think.
This is a really good question. Because if we all fall into that Braden market where he got a deal with a company to customize things, it's definitely worth checking out. I'm going to say my short answer is going to be you find a product and you customize it. Mm-hmm. You find a cool product. If they don't want a custom woodworking thing, you find a product they want.
You make them want it.
You customize it. Braden, you're the expert on this. Tell me more.
Listen, that first job can be the one that pays for that big old laser that you need in your life, whether you know it or not.
Actually, that's a great idea too.
I will say that he was in the pre-show chat and he said that he's talking like 5 or 6 items that he's making. Or 5 or 6 of one thing.
You can get a really nice Ortor laser, right? Like,
just so we're aware.
It sounds like he's like the company is looking for fewer items, but it's for like top performer type Christmas gifts. So they're looking for something classier than like whiskey smokers and stuff like that. Is that what you guys are understanding here?
Whiskey plus
like
whiskey smoker plus some glasses combo.
That's actually, that was going to be kind of my suggestion, is like find a way to build a kit. Like when you get to companies, they're looking for like those tenured gifts. I quoted out some tenure, like top performer type gifts to a company. And I mean, we were talking like $300 each sort of items. So figure out, maybe instead of taking a bunch of items to them, I hate doing that. Taking like, hey, this is what I can do, or I can do this, or I can do this, or I can do this. Clearly they know the sort of stuff that you can make or what you can do. It's time for them to give you a little bit of feedback on like what they might be looking for, give you a budget, give you what they want to accomplish with it, which sounds really indirect, but if they want to razzle dazzle like a top performer, that could be something where you're building like a really nice flocked interior, like a box with like brass emblems or something like that, where you can kind of upcharge a little bit, and their budget is higher per item rather than volume. So that's kind of what we could give you suggestions all day long.
No, I would think you're onto something though, because they're okay. I'm gonna assume negative intent here, right? The boss is, and Alex, don't take this as the actual scenario, but like the boss is being nice. I know Alex is woodworking, came up in conversation. I'm gonna entertain him until I shut it down enough to like go with what I want. Ask him what he wants. Maybe he's like, he's gonna be like, well, we were thinking like, we're thinking about getting these like whiskey bottles and getting them engraved with plaques of like in brass or something of like this, that. And Alex can just balls on a table be like, yeah, I can do that. Because here's the thing, Alex, if you can't, you've got to you're close enough to a couple of guys with some lasers that you can maybe outsource some work for them, and like you have resources around you where you can be like, you can put your business on a table and be like, oh, I can do that. Yeah, that's all you want? I got you.
It's shocking how many quotes that I do for like custom work. No idea if I can actually do it. No idea how I'm going to do it. But as long as I can figure out the material in like a rough idea of time, if I can't do something, I know that I can go get Dan to help me figure it out. Or I know somebody that's done something. And that's the cool thing about the maker community is if you can't do it, somebody that can, or somebody that's done it already.
I know a guy with a fiber laser, for example, like
that keeps trying to make me believe that I shouldn't have like I shouldn't just be building in brass emblems into my workflow because he's not going to do them for me.
I mean, I can, but go to Alec. Alec makes good work.
But I'm trying to use code AWP on your website to save 10%. Dan, what do you think?
So help me. Remind me.
Like emotionally?
I think I just asked.
He's trying to figure out a gift for a holiday party for some top performers for the company, about 5 to 6 of them.
Right.
And they are looking to spend about $80 per gift.
That's not what I need reminded of. Does Alex have a CNC?
No.
CNCDs.
That's
really, he has
hurts, Alex.
An A and C and Adam. Alex.
Okay.
And Alex.
I would say like wine boxes. Wine boxes would be cool. And you don't need a CNC to do. I mean, you don't need a CNC to do anything really, but if you're going to do multiples of one, it would be handy to have one. I think a wine box would be really nice, especially like if you do some good joinery for the ends, like some box joints or something. Which would be easy to do on your table saw and or router table. Don't know if you have a router table. Everything else I was going to mention is like CNC based. Like like a phone dock or trivets or trivet sets, or there's just 100,000 different like smaller items you can make. They're all over Pinterest. That's where I get a lot of my ideas from for smaller things.
Really nice valet trays. Those are usually pretty decent
you
gifts.
can make
they're
a
real
valet
classy.
with a T.
Yeah, and you don't need a CNC for that. You just need some bowl bits and a template or two.
Is it really called a valet tray?
Valet.
It is up
Valet.
here.
Oh, okay. So Pete's being
Pete's
Whoa,
peating.
Don't say what I'm being.
Pete's peating.
just peating all over the place.
He's petering all over the place.
So hopefully we answer the question of go ask what the heck they want.
Yeah,
definitely.
Mainly it's like just assert yourself. Be like, well, what are you guys looking for? Because like I've got a lot of resources.
Just be in there and be like, help me, help you. Show me the money.
Because if they're like, can you make $100 Visa
Yes.
gift cards? Just be like, all right, well,
I can
get them for you.
$105 each.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it.
That's the shipping and the
Make
handling.
it big.
And I
Well, speaking of handling, here's Alex again.
Hey guys, I've been processing some rough cut lumber scraps, and it got me to thinking, how small of a board are you guys comfortable with when it comes to using your jointer?
what the hell was going on during that call?
He said his cat was rubbing up against
his cat
something,
was
but I think that he was
okay.
secretly recording like in the attic or something. Like his wife finally was like, "You are calling into this show way too much," and now he's got to hide it like an addiction.
So I will say
That makes
this:
sense.
jointing
Dan-
6-inch, planing 8 to 10-inch.
Long? I think he's talking thickness.
I think how small of a board are you comfortable with jointing? I don't. Hold on, it's a 14-second question. I want to hear this again.
Hey
wanna hear the
guys,
cat.
I've been processing some
Oh, there's
rough
the
cut
cat.
lumber scraps, and it got me to thinking, how small of a board are you guys comfortable with when it comes to using your jointer?
Oh, I think he's talking about like strips, like narrow, small pieces.
I mean, we could
Every-
speculate all day. But
narrow. I'm just
Let's
using.
just cover
I
all
have
three.
a.
Let's
I have
cover
a-
all three.
I have a push block that's literally like what you would use on a table saw for like narrow cuts. If it's long enough, it's got enough reference space. Like you're fine.
it really depends on the jointer or the planer you're using. I mean,
Well,
they're all a little
it's just
different.
jointer. 'Cause
Okay,
you're-
it depends on the jointer you're using. Okay, if you're using a little benchtop jointer, the answer is going to be different than a big giant jointer. What it comes down to is that specific jointer that you're using is going to have a recommended minimum length of board that you should cut.
Nerd.
I would follow that.
Dan, you
follow
haven't followed a recommended spec a day.
Yeah,
Oh, how do you know?
This is the
dare.
worst advice to get from this guy. It's like he's juggling fire like batons, and he's like, "Yeah, you want to make sure you don't burn yourself."
Well, every jointer is going to be different. I can't.
I
You
agree.
can't just answer it.
Every jointer has got its own unique and special ways about it.
Listen, you're not a real man until you've tried to run a small ring box that's made
Nope.
of burl
Don't
through
do
the
that.
joiner,
Don't do that.
and then
Don't
you
do
still haven't found it to this day after moving from that house.
Don't
Okay,
do it.
that's how you become a man.
Don't do it. Let me just say, okay, I know you all want to talk, but like, if you're uncomfortable doing anything with any tool, don't do it.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
stellar advice.
That's all.
Because my answer is what I would like. What is my smallest that I'll do is almost always one swipe through the joiner more than I actually was comfortable with. Like,
Yeah.
I'll do it and I'll be like, I can get one more, and then I'll
Yeah.
do it, and at the end of it, I'm like, I should not have done that. Like, it's usually works out okay, but I'm usually like, that was stupid, Braden.
Oh,
Stupid Braden was in control.
This is actually timely. I'm sorry, Pete. I'm gonna let you talk one of these days.
No, it's fine.
You know
But
those.
Rihanna should have won Album of the Year.
I'm not gonna dispute that. What year, actually?
You know what year. Anyway, Dan.
92.
You know those thin pieces I get when I cut out bow ties? You get them all the time. They're great for laser pieces. They're usually pretty wide, but they're really thin. They're like
Gonna run that through the planer.
a 16th of an inch, maybe an eighth, if I'm lucky. I mean,
that's drum sander material.
It is drum sander material. And that's exactly what I told Sutton today when I saw him trying to joint one flat.
I can tell you with extreme confidence that those are drum sander material based on my personal experiences.
Yeah, Sutton tried to joint one of those today because, both sides have bandsaw marks on them.
What is with him trying to run things through the jointer that he has no business running through?
I turned around and he's running that, and it made a weird sound, and I turned around and I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, it's great when you can hear it across the shop where you're like, that's wrong. No. Yeah.
I'm like, no, dude, that's exactly what the drum sander is for. Those are drum sander only. He's like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. I have good ideas, Sutton. Now here, do this glue thing.
You want to be a star, don't you?
Maybe that's why Sutton felt so confident running it through. He was wearing all his GPE, his glue protected equipment.
Probably
1 inch of solid cured glue just all over, head to toe.
Anyway, I'm done talking. Pete.
All I was going to say is, like, as far as jointer goes, unless I'm jointing the edge of a board and pressing it up into the fence with my fingers, I almost never run anything through the jointer without like paddles, like push blocks. Everything, like, from the smallest piece down down to like small, like narrow but long pieces, I'm running with a little like push block type thing. Like it's a little lip, like what you do use on a table saw on a narrow cut.
Mm-hmm.
But like anything that can fit even a third of like the push block pads, which are like, the 2 by 6 inch pads with the handles, immediately I have that. If it's big boards, I don't care if it's a wide board. I don't know about you guys. I get splinters like everyone else. Like, I'm not pushing a random rough board through there. I'm just going to push it with the blocks. Might as well. I get better grip.
We have strong Midwestern hands, not delicate East Coast.
It's not about
hands.
that. Listen, I am in a shop. I know Dan's in flip flops. I'm in slippers. If there's enough sawdust on the ground,
wear Hey Dudes.
Even I wear Hey Dudes in a shop too, which means that if you're trying to joint the full width of your jointer and it's a rough piece, like if you're doing some white oak, you might get pushed back a little bit when you're pushing material through if you go deep enough. So like, you might as well not use your hands. Use some push blocks. Get a good, stance in the sawdust where you're getting grip. Because I think we've all slipped back on the jointer when we're trying to push forward.
Wide legs, power stance,
power stance. Just push off
your AC/DC on stage, baby.
None of the tools I have scare me per se.
That may be your biggest problem.
That shows.
Yeah, but I think I have the healthiest of respects for the jointer. Like that thing, if any of them frighten me, it's that one that frightens me. So
me too.
I'm very cautious when I use the jointer.
Yeah. That one's spooky. That one can be scary. No thin material, guys. All right. I guess let's listen to this question from person. I did not write this one down.
Hey guys, it's Malcolm from Bossdog Woodworks, and this week my question is about a new project I'm working on that is the base for a record player. It's going to be a record player, small cabinet, console type situation, but I need the wood to be black or as dark as I can get it. I know there are a bunch of different ways to do this. Do I get a lighter colored species of wood and use India ink, or should I go with Rubio? Just what's your advice generally on how to do this? Thanks.
Dan, I'm going to be honest. If I was in this situation, I'd be calling you and asking you what to do anyway. So what would you do?
That's funny enough. He actually texted me and we were talking about this. So I knew he was going to ask this question. I think you knew too. I think he asked you as well. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's exactly what I told him when he texted is I would use red oak or ash because they both take stain very well. And if you're going to stain something, you might as well use a a cheaper wood, but is still a quality wood, like red oak or ash. I don't know about on the East Coast, but here in the Midwest, red oak and ash are really cheap. And I would use an India ink for sure. But keep in mind when you use India ink, number one, all the India inks I've ever used have been like water based, so it does raise the grain a little bit. Also, when it dries, if you run your fingers across it, the black ink will come off on your hands. So after you put on India ink, you will have to put on some sort of top coat, like a lacquer or a polyurethane or something. And you're probably going to want to spray it, because if you try to wipe it on it, you're just going to smear it around. It's going to look really ugly. Pete, do you have any insight on how should he make wood black?
So I'm a huge fan of what you said, ash and oak especially. I think ash is great with India ink because of the open grain. It just pops.
Mhm.
Because the thing is, when you dye, if you dye maple black, it just looks like a black piece of something.
Maple has such a tight grain. It's not going to allow any of the dye or the stain to
absolutely
soak into the wood.
When you use an ash, it just like it pops because you see that cathedral grain, the straight grain, the open grain of it. It soaks it up, and it's not as shiny. So shellac, actually, the one I've been using is India ink is shellac based. The one I've been using. Yeah. So it's usually shellac, which is made of bugs, which is super crazy to me still to this day. It's made of bug shells.
I always assumed mine was water based because it raises the grain. Something awful. That's
why some people cut their shellac flakes with alcohol. Actually, Keith cuts it with Everclear because he's got a problem. He doesn't drink. That's the problem. No, he doesn't drink.
Maybe the problem is he doesn't drink.
Right. But the thing is, it makes it when it finishes, when it actually dries out, if you have a smooth enough sand, like Dan's right, it can still pop the grain, but if you do a good enough job sanding, you'll get a kind of a shiny finish, shiny sheen on the flat parts. Anywhere there is any kind of like the grain, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a contrast and it pops. It really looks good. But I will agree with Dan, 100%. You got to hit it with something afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Whether and I used to do lacquer, but then I've realized I've always made like side tables and like things that like people put drinks on, and eventually you can get a stain. So right. I highly recommend a water-based finish, something that's meant maybe for outdoors. Again, I'm gonna say General Finishes because that's been my bread and butter lately. I love it. So it's expensive, but it's worth it. Braden?
I told Dan I would just call him. I don't do much with stain paint. Like I don't like adjusting colors really from natural wood. So I've literally never used India ink.
And then finish it with cotton white Rubio. That's what I hear is great.
No.
Yeah.
Apparently, I like totally off topic, but apparently cotton white on white oak is like money.
It is great.
That is the one.
I do have a piece that is finished with that. It's a tufted CNC wall art piece that's choice.
I genuinely haven't tried it yet, and I keep hearing nothing but nice things about it. I gotta pick some up. So
I actually had somebody order some of my narrow side tables, a pair of them, and they wanted them with a white finish, a whitewash finish on them. That looked really good.
Finish.
White. All right. Next question from this person.
Hey fellas, this is DJ from Only France Woodworks. I got a question about your whiskey smokers and what is your preferred chips to smoke with your whiskey. Also, love the podcast. I've been listening since the beginning, and I gotta say, Braden, you are a welcome addition to the podcast. You are funny. So yeah, have a great night, guys. Thanks a lot.
First of all, I want to know what Braden paid him to call in.
Yeah,
I feel like the prettiest princess at the ball right now.
Well, Braden, funny guy. You want to go first?
You want to go first, Braden? Funny guy?
We use cherry wood shavings, and
because it's the best.
It's got it's an aromatic type wood.
Yes.
is what we tell people.
What are you smoking? Fish over here?
Smoking that bourbon. But we buy the big bags of wood shaving, like the barbecue grill smoker shavings, the real fine ones. We buy those bags.
Not pellets, but shavings.
Shavings.
You can
Pellets.
buy that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they're meant for like those smoking tins that you would put in your grill.
Dan, I got an idea for you.
God,
Now that you got the planer, cherry
Yeah.
shavings.
I've thought about it, and that's actually like a joke we tell everybody at the shows we do, because they'll ask us what kind of wood chips are you using. We'll show them the bag, and we're like, it's funny because we have these fully decked out wood shops, and we buy wood shavings.
Yeah, one sanding job of MDF, and it just f's up the whole batch.
Exactly. It's just so much easier. And the wood chips on Amazon are like what, $8?
It's like
$5.
10
It's
to
cheap.
$10 to $12 for like a big bag, and we get like 70 or 80 tins out of it. I mean, it's a question of like scale at that point, just economics of scale. So, just one more of those things where, technically we could make the product, the wood shavings. It's just not worth the time. So,
No,
but
it's
anyway,
not.
we use cherry wood shavings from Amazon.
True.
Dan, what do we use?
If memory serves me correctly, I think you just said we use cherry. Cherry's the best wood for smoking. Fight me. That's it.
Catch these hands, Pete.
I have a question. So I'm not part of the whiskey smoker gang, but I'm curious because there was I forget if Hamilton was the one that released this file or if it was just a video we sent to each other of someone that had, it was a board that just had a bunch of different woods glued together, and it like spun around, and basically the place like burned a piece of the wood and put the actual whiskey glass over it. So there was no shavings. They were burning the actual board. I forget if it was like pizza slices or if it was just straight like oak, cherry, Mozambique, walnut. Obviously, it's not exotics. But also like like something tells me like when I think of like whiskey, bourbon, whatever, I just think of oak. Like, why wouldn't you burn oak? I know, and I get cherry though, because like for my pellet smoker, I use a lot of cherry.
The one reason that we use cherry is not only does it smell good, but it creates a very visual smoke.
Okay.
Very easily. Visualization is like everything for selling that product. Everything.
If you can't start a fire, we've said it 1,000 times. If you can't start a fire inside with that product, you might as well just not sell it.
That is correct.
True. Well, I mean, like, so yeah, go with cherry. I mean, you can you can make your own shavings, but like you said, it's probably cheaper to just buy them, right?
Yeah, it's just way more cost effective.
Well, you know what else is more cost effective?
Our patrons?
I don't know. That was a terrible segue. I think that's all the questions. I think we got all of them.
And we're under 2 hours. Look at that, Braden.
We are.
For now.
Guys.
We'll mess it up.
Drag it out.
Another year. Christmas is coming around. Super excited.
We're going to have another episode inside this year. So
that's gonna be like a in between. That's gonna be loosey goosey.
That's our holiday party episode.
Yeah,
that's our holiday party episode.
Ooh, I'm allowed to get drunk?
Well, are you guys excited for the self-employed holiday parties?
Oh God, they're my favorite.
I hope to hook up with Emma from accounting.
I get an HR violation every year. It's weird.
You are an HR violation.
Walking HR violation.
And also, I mean, before we go, I do want to remind everyone that the show title is going to be Are the Chairs Included? Just want to point that out. And I also wanted to shout out our biggest donor for Makers for St. Jude, which you can donate. Check the show notes. And one of our top tier patrons and our sponsor this week, William Burkle at WTB Woodworking, who's he's got some awesome stuff and he's passing the savings on to you. Plus, there's a giveaway. You guys can win a Fuji sprayer, so make sure to go check that out. WTBwoodworking.com/giveaway. It should be / under the Woodshop podcast /giveaway, but I'll allow it. It's fine, right? Yeah, we get it.
We'll buy the
that's okay.
domain. We'll fix it.
Now, speaking of chairs that are included, Dan,
Big shout out to our patrons. It is with your support that we have made it 99.9% through another year. We couldn't do this without you, and we appreciate every one of you. If you want to join the patron community that we lovingly call the Meh Army, go over to patreon.com/anotherwoodshop podcast. And currently, with that, if you join to be a patron, you can get into the giveaway that we're giving away. You can get into the giveaway that we're giving away.
Give it away.
Braden,
now.
what are we giving away? We're giving away a FL Sun T19er Pro Lift XJ.
And FL Sun T1 Pro Delta style 3D printer.
Yeah, and it's fast.
Oh, it's fast.
It's fast.
But at a reasonable speed, it's also a good printer.
And each tier of patronage, words escape me right now. Each tier,
Patronuses.
Oh yeah, Patronuses. Patroni? Each
Patroni.
tier of Patroni will get you an entry into the giveaway. So the base level patron, paid patron, you'll get 1. The next level, 2. The next level, 3. The top level, the VIP level, 4. And like Pete mentioned earlier, if you want to go over to our St. Jude's link, which will be in the show notes, I'm not
easier
even
than trying to
attempt
remember it. Yeah.
to tell you what that link is. Every $5 that you donate over there, you can get an extra entry into the giveaway. And when are we giving this away? When are we
next
doing
week?
This? When are we pulling this?
Yeah, we are
next week.
We are pulling our data on Christmas. It'll be a Christmas miracle.
Will it be on Christmas?
Well, we are going to pull it on Christmas, and then we'll announce it
on
the show,
okay,
pre-show, whatever it is.
Cool.
Pre.
Actually, it's Boxing Day that we're recording.
Yeah, but it's a Canadian holiday, so it doesn't count.
Oh, in America, we just fight.
Yeah,
this is America.
No. That's the day after Thanksgiving. That's Boxing Day. That's American Boxing Day.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's all I have to say, gentlemen.
We have thanked our patronuses.
Yeah, guys.
Patroni.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and have a happy New Year. I mean, we'll still see you before the New Year, so enjoy your Krampus, Kwanzaa, Kamaka, Chameleon, all the holidays.
Bah humbug.
Love y'all. Bye.
Adios.
Love you long time.